Should be right here in a few minutes.
Okay. So I eat these snacks, yeah.
Think about not using this restream crap anymore. I mean, because there's no point in this chat since I can't really see the YouTube chat hardly ever, you know?
Mm-hmm.
This chat hardly ever works.
I thought we said we had discussed not doing live shows anymore. Maybe we can record the show, like save the show instead of streaming it, save it, and then put that file up.
Yeah, that adds more work though. That's like the whole purpose of the live stream is to be less work.
How is it more work?
Because then I have to record it and then I have to upload it.
Okay.
First
But you don't have to edit it though. We just gonna keep it as is.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we could do that. I mean, because it's not like anybody watches anyway.
Right.
This thing's paused. Like, I don't see you, and it's just me, like, blowing vape out of my nose.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's paused. Yeah, it's paused on my screen too. I just saw it.
Oh. Well. Oh, it seems to be fixed now.
Oh, there it is. I'm sorry, y'all. The show ain't started yet. I'm hungry.
It's all good. Bum, 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 bum. Chickaboo, chickaboo, chickaboo.
Let me ask you this. On the subject that we were just talking about,
Uh-huh.
when you were a kid, did you ever have to sing something that you realized later was inappropriate for your parents?
They never asked me to sing stuff, so...
Really? My little cuz, right? At a very young age, she learned the words to practice what you preach.
Uh-huh.
And they used to make her sing that fucking song all the time. Like, all the time. And it's like, you making a little kid sing practice what you preach, like, and y'all think that's cute? Like, for real? I don't get it. Like, and the idea, like, I was watching a lot of marching band stuff. And, a lot of the down south marching bands play Ring My Bell. So I was singing Ring My Bell, and then I just, just the thought of it was like, I sang this around my parents as a child, and no one said anything. The thought never crossed their minds to say, hey, maybe you shouldn't sing that.
Right.
But the moment it's in rap music, all of a sudden it's a big deal, fuckers. Just because they outwardly said it instead of saying ring my bell. Fuck out of here. Parents.
I thought our geeks gone raw universe, I think is the... I'm trying to find it on universe.
Do you want me to just... I'm on the live stream, so you want me to share?
I was trying to see if it's live on Mixer. Alright, yeah, we good.
Do you want me to just... I'm on the live stream.
Where's the fucking remote?
Yeah, because I can hear us pretty well.
Hold on. Alright, I muted it, but is there a way to like chat? GG.
Huh?
Alright. Well, it came up on my chat, so Mixer will come through. It said that it was down, like on my chat thing, it was like, oh, you need to reconfigure something. But it showed up on here, so.
I really got to get my internet stuff straight so that I can stream.
Yeah, that's the whole reason I stream versus like making videos, because
It's so much easier to just do that and just be done with it.
yeah. Because even if I'm doing like a setting like that Humble Bumble shit, I stream it because then I don't have to. Because it actually takes more processing power to record than it does stream, because your processor is actually literally making a file versus. Which
Yeah,
I mean, doing this is not that bad, but like playing a game and recording it in like is a lot of processing power.
And from what I understand, like if you're recording and stuff like that, I just realized that you should probably put most of the work onto your video card, which I did not have at first, and then they said that if you're playing a game or something like that, you should be saving your recording to a different hard drive. Yeah. Not the one that you're playing the game on, which I only have one hard drive and I need space because of all of these fucking videos, like pinning videos and video game videos and all of this shit. I need space bad, like
you
real
can get
bad.
You not like a SSD, but like just a regular old hard drive, like a WD or something, and like a 4 terabyte for like $100, man. I mean, they're like super free.
Yeah. But that requires $100. That's the problem. I'm going to Baltimore on Friday.
I mean, but when you think like 4 terabyte, you're thinking like some big money. But like, you can probably get like a 1 terabyte for like super free. But like the
well, both of my consoles have 2 terabyte drives attached to them.
Yeah.
So 4 doesn't seem like a stretch at this point because I've had both of those for quite some time, you know. Yeah. All right, you ready for the show? Are you ready for the show? That's your excited face?
Yes.
Is that what your excited face is?
Sam needs to get in here because all of a sudden when you started saying, oh, are you ready for the show? I started getting the feeling like, man, I might need to poop. And I'm like, damn it! If Sam was here, I could just go.
I've not heard from Sam at all.
But yeah, the division shit, that's been fun. We'll get into that, but
okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Do you have to poop? I mean, because I did.
Can you kind of get rolling without me while I poop?
Yeah, but I want to talk about some stuff that you want to talk about. That you should talk about, like the 10-year thing. I recorded a separate show, but
it doesn't feel like a long poop. So, you know, when you get my
mine was. All right, go. Just go.
Okay.
Go. I'll talk to the people. I'm talking about politics. Hey y'all, this is pre-show shenanigans. I have a bone to pick about politics. I think it's all just kind of stupid. Like, let's be honest, like this upcoming election got all these people riled up and they all like ready to go and they feel this way or the other. And like, let's be honest, like it really, like outside of like your local stuff, it really comes down to 2 choices. Are you team 45 or you team not? Because I'm pretty sure whoever gets the nomination on the other side is going to get the vote for everybody who's team not. So like everybody all of the Democrats right now jockeying for position, and like all of the people like repping for their candidate or whatever like that. That's all cool, but like at the end of the day, none of this stuff actually matters. If like the primaries and stuff like that matter, it shows you who's winning and all that kind of stuff. So like by all means, go out and vote at your primaries so we can try to get us a Democratic front runner to go against 45. But at the end of the day, come November, you have two choices. Am I team Trump or I'm team whoever is on the blue side? And that's pretty much it. Like a lot of people just keep going off about this and losing their minds. Like now, I've never been the political type. I've never really been that type because I always say to myself like, I'm not one of those people that really feels like my vote matters that much. Now, turns out it mattered a lot in the last presidential election, but even so, like my only part of this when it comes to government and all of that kind of stuff is my only part of this is a vote. I don't have enough money to like influence anybody to make any decisions. So like why would I be checking on this every day, making myself more depressed at like 45 or whatever the Democrats are doing? All this kind of stuff. Like people just keep riling themselves up and just getting mad for nothing. Like what are you mad about, dog? Like you at the end of the day, you regular person that I'm talking to, you only have a vote. That's it. You only have that. And like, and then like, like if you live in certain states, like you already know, like even if you're opposed to like 45 or something like that, but you know that you live in a red state that's gonna be about that life. Why are you getting all mixed up into this? Because your vote ain't gonna count for a whole lot. Go ahead and do your thing. Vote how you feel. But if your state been red forever and you don't see no signs, like I don't see no signs that like a lot of this stuff is really gonna change that much. Like the swing states and all of that nonsense, it doesn't seem like it's changed very much. Like the people who cared about 45 in order to get him into office a lot of them don't seem to be turning away from him. In fact, because of everything like the impeachment proceedings and all of that kind of stuff, they seem to be wrapping their arms in him. And so like how do you change those people? Like we have 4 years to try to change their minds. And I don't know a whole bunch of people whose minds have been changed. I'm not one of those people that like gets rid of all of my 45 loving friends. I'm not one of those people that will never happen because like we was cool before 45, and hopefully when this thing is done, whether it's 4 or 8 years, we can be cool afterwards. But like the idea that like people are like really getting up in arms about this, but like that your circumstance isn't going to change very often. I mean, or isn't going to change very much. Uh, I don't understand it. And like I got people that I work with that are 45 fans, and they are about that life. But the last few presidential elections, Virginia went blue. So like they are getting really excited about like voting and trying to make sure that 45 stays in office. But it's like, yeah, but like you're in Richmond, Northern Virginia, which has most of the people, are going to determine which way this shit goes. And the last couple of times they voted for a president, it went blue. So technically Virginia is blue now. So why are you getting all riled up about your re-election campaign when like, yeah, Richmond may go red. But that ain't saying shit to Northern Virginia. Like Northern Virginia is gonna dictate this whole shit. And I'm not telling anybody not to vote. Go ahead and vote your conscience and vote for who you think is better for you. But like all of this shit getting riled up in the meantime, it's just dumb. I think it's dumb. Like people getting wrapped up in all of this stuff is just like no, I won't say it's dumb. It's pointless. It's absolutely pointless. You only have one part in this, and that's a vote. That doesn't happen till November. So why are you mad now?
I think it comes with age too. Like a lot of people that get, other than some of the, there are some older people that do get riled up, but a lot of the people that really get riled up are like in their 20s. You know what I mean? And then I'm like Dude, even if I agree with somebody, I've like unfollowed a lot of people that just their whole identity is politics. Just because no matter what side it is, I'm just like it's all the same shit. I'm just seeing all over my feed all day, every day, and I'm just like,
But see, me, I don't unfollow people because of their belief system.
well, no, I'm not talking about
No, wait,
unfollowing, like
no,
block.
like,
I'm talking about
oh
like
yeah.
to where I don't unfriend them. I just don't see their shit every day.
Oh no, you know what? I unfriended a couple of people, but it didn't have anything to do with politics. Um, I did unfollow the posts of one person, and that person isn't someone that I really know like that. They're just kind of adjacent to someone I knew and followed me because of that. So I unfollowed their post because it was just a bunch of like really weird and reckless stuff. And I was just like, you know what? I just don't want to see your posts. I don't unfriend anybody. And then I unfollow people who just have like a whole bunch of stupid shit going on of their on their page. Like there's this one young girl that I'm Facebook friends with, and for some reason her whole timeline is share this poster, you're gonna get bad luck or that type of shit. So
Yeah.
it's just like, yeah, I don't need to see any of this. Let me go ahead and just unfollow this shit, like that type of thing. But even still, I don't like to spread that shit. So what I would do, right? This is what I do for anybody who don't know how to do this. All right, so I will share it, but I change the share thing to be only me. So like I'm not spreading this around. I am sharing it like it said. It said I should share it. But I'm setting who can see it to only me. And then once I share it, I hide it from my view. Because the thing said share it or you will get bad luck. So I share it, make it only me, and then I hide it from my view. Bam, it's done. No bad luck for me. I ain't got to spread this shit around because I think like this whole like passing this stuff along, it doesn't help anybody. So, yep, that's how I do that.
Sounds good, man.
And also, I don't unfollow any people because at the end of the day, if something like really serious happens, I need to know who I can trust. I didn't know who I could trust. And that's the reason why I say, the same thing I say about the Confederate monuments or like people having like the Confederate flag gear and stuff on their cars and stuff like that. Don't ban none of that shit. Keep threatening to ban it. And the people who get the most upset about it, I know I can't trust. So like, but like, just keep threatening to get rid of it. Don't actually get rid of it. And like that's just a signal
And if
flare to me.
Uncle Earl over here being like stockpiling weapons for the apocalypse, don't be like broadcasting that shit because everyone's going to know to go to Uncle Earl's place.
I don't have those kind of uncles. You know what I'm saying? Like it's different. But see, here's the thing. If you have that kind of Uncle Earl and like you share stuff like that, I know that if the apocalypse happens or it turns out to be a race thing that happens, don't go to Chase because Chase may go to Uncle Earl and I'm fucked. Like that type of thing. Like that's the reason why I say don't get rid of none of this shit. Don't get rid of none of it, but just keep threatening to take it away. And like and the people, the hit dogs will always holler. And because of that, I will always know where I stand with some people when it comes down to it. And that works out better for me.
Sounds good.
Word up. All right, so welcome. That was a rolling start. Welcome to Scarcasm Live. I'm Scarfinger. Chase is in the building.
Yeah.
And this is the first show after I did a small show recently, just kind of marking the 10-year anniversary of the show. And I talked about a little bit about where we've been, what I kind of wanted in the initial vision of the show, and like different phases that we've gone through. Now, to be honest, that recording that I put up It was actually the second recording. Oh, it froze. What happened?
Did it?
Oh, it froze on my end. You froze for a second. That was actually the second recording. I don't know how much you missed. That was the second recording, and I talked a lot longer. I talked about a good 20 minutes, and I realized that the recording stopped after like 5. So I had to stop it and restart it and redo the whole shit. But it was cool. I just kind of sat here with just kind of sat here with my microphone and just kind of gave it just kind of spoke from the just kind of just spoke from me. Like, I didn't have anything written down. I just wanted to tell people how much making it to 10 years actually meant to me and to us at every part of the GGR family. And that includes the listeners, who some of them have been around since the beginning or near the beginning. So I just think it's really cool. Like, 10 years later, we still here. Like, ain't that crazy? Like, it's been 10 years. I now know you've been around for a few, not the whole 10, but just the idea that, like, 10 years ago, this was just an idea, just getting started, and now we still here.
Yeah.
It's crazy, because you and I have both seen a lot of podcasts come and go.
Yeah.
A lot. And we not really the most popular podcast ever. And I personally, I like it that way. Because most of the like super popular podcasts that I know, they get a lot of negative feedback, and it is something that I never feel like I want to deal with. But like, just the fact that we made it and they didn't is like crazy, because there's some podcasts that I still revere. Like I hope I can get to that level, but they not here no more, type thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's just crazy, but like, we lasted, they didn't. Haha.
Yeah, I think it's crazy that when I think about it, that I came on and it was like, oh well, kind of my first official podcast, especially on a podcast that I was listening to before then, and now I've been on there for like going on 3 years, and then actually on the YouTube page, like that Persona stream that we started, like, you always like make fun of that shit, but like, if it wasn't for that Persona stream, I probably wouldn't even on the podcast, because that's the whole reason I came on the podcast, is because I couldn't get that stream going one time. You were like, hey, let's do a podcast, and there it was.
Yeah. So I think it's really dope. And like, and I've already said everything that I felt like I needed to say on that show, but I just wanted to say it again in case anybody skipped it. Thank you for allowing us to be here, because we wouldn't be here if no one listened. Like, I would still do it, like, but it would just be me. If like there was absolutely nobody listening, like no one would want to do the show with me. It would just be me ranting and raving and yelling at my microphone. And like, and recently, and really, and yeah, my furry microphone. It's furry. And I recently did the Angry Mailman podcast, and I noticed during that show that, like, how different how different I am in these types of spaces now. It was just kind of like, I just felt different, and I felt a little bit more confident in myself. And I didn't feel like I had to overcompensate by being vulgar, or being rude, and like, and trying to derail the show and stuff like that. I just kind of rolled with it, and like, became a part of it in a way that I never really did too much before. I know some people like that, but like I felt like I don't know, maybe I've matured a little bit, which is weird to say because I never wanted to be mature ever. Like, you know what I mean? But like I realized
Speaking of
in
that,
that.
like, have you ever been to a store and just like someone's and the person at the counter is like, because they call you over because you're the next person, they call you sir, and I'm just like, wait a minute, I'm not sir. Just call me dude or man or I'm not sir. I'm not that old.
You know, I feel that sometimes when I'm out somewhere and I get called for something, like if I'm at the doctor's office or something like that, and they say Mr. Corbin, I'm like, my dad's here. Like that feeling, but like I'm getting old, so like I get that a lot these days. Like you know, you go to the store and there's a young person behind, and they'll say sir or something like that, and I'm just like, I don't really say sir very often unless I'm talking to the cops because I believe the word sir is short for officer. But like. Um, but like I do say sir very often, but it's usually to someone that I think is older, and I think it's really weird these days when someone does it for me because that means they think I'm old.
Yeah,
But like you probably don't get that much right now because you shaved your beard. Like when you had your beard, it was probably something different.
maybe. I mean, sir isn't so bad, but I hate it when people. I hate it when people call me buddy. Like someone I don't know says, "What's up, buddy?" and or like or and I really hate it when they call me boss man. Fucking hate that shit. Most condescending shit in the world.
Do you know what I hate? This is the one that I hate. The I don't really know your name, so I'm going to call you something.
Uh
I hate the people that call you guy.
huh.
I hate that. I hate that guy. Like that person, the person that will just call you guy because it's so like impersonal and like guy just means like I am a dude. Like when I talk to people, and my daughter noticed this. Like I depends on who I'm talking to. Like if I'm at the store, I speak to everybody.
Mm.
If we make eye contact, I'll speak. Um, and usually if it's like somebody black or somebody that look like they might be down a little bit, I'll refer to them as pimp. Or if it's like someone else, I'll refer to them as brother or bruh.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that type of thing. But like my daughter notices, like, why did you just call him a pimp, but you just call him brother? Like during the same Walmart trip, like
Mm-hmm.
I had this I don't know, like you know, like if he don't look like he down, like is he? How is he gonna react to being called a pimp? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't know this, so like let me just keep this to people I think are down. Um, but yeah, I'm that guy. I'm pimp or brother,
Mm-hmm.
but I would never be a guy. I would never be a guy because I think that guy sucks. All right, so we play some games together, yo.
We did, and it started out for our the 10-year because we were going to do a show for a 10-year anniversary, but then we thought, I mean, you did kind of do like a small show, but we actually did a game night, and all three of us that's on the show, me, you, and Sam, played, and I mean it was open for everybody. So if you guys see us on Division 2 on the Xbox and there's a party open, just join on in because we're
Bruh, I am all the way back in. Like I am all the way back in. Do you understand how much division I've played in the past week?
well. I did notice that they didn't make it Borderlands like to where you can go in and just you know what's it called when you bring someone in and just like level them up really fast.
Well, actually, you can do that. All you have to do is join me in my main character. Join my main character in that world. If you join me in that world, see, I started a new character to start pretty much on the same playing field as y'all. So, but if I brought y'all into my world, it'll be level city,
Okay.
um,
Well,
because
well, I mean, I did notice that when we were playing, they had some systems enabled, and I mean, it's been out for a year, so people probably already know this, but that made it a lot easier to group up with friends. So that because I got Division, and then all these people that I knew that had the Division, I couldn't play with them because I couldn't do anything. If they come in my game, all the enemies were level 30. If I went in their game, obvious all the enemies are level 30. So it's like we just couldn't play together. So
but even then, um, the cool part about it, and this has been in the game for quite some time, because I played a little bit after playing the game with y'all.
mhm.
When we played the second time, I was like 5 levels higher than y'all. But what the game does is like it keeps you at your level, but it pretends like you're just like 1 level below me.
Yeah, but I don't think that was in at the beginning.
I think so.
You think so?
Mhm. I played a lot of Division. I don't know how much I've played, but it has been hours and hours and hours and hours. I stopped because I got to the point to where it's like I was gonna need some DLC to be able to do some things. Like shit started popping up on the screen that was just like, "Hey, you need the year pass in order to do this," and I'm like, "Fuck that." I think I stopped playing around the time of the raid when the raid first came out,
Mm-hmm.
but I was already like pretty. I was already pretty maxed out by that point. Now I don't really have that whole like the thing about it that I don't like, and we'll get back to the game nights in a second. The thing I don't like about it that much is you have that Diablo level, um, maxing out your gear and like making sure that this works with your play style and all of that other stuff, and it's just like, bruh, I just want to play the game. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and
Well,
it's like
because
brand
yeah,
sets
I
and
do
stuff
notice
like
that too. But then it's like this middle ground to where you have to do that, but then you don't really have roles. I mean, you can kind of like make them
that.
up
Actually, you do.
yourself.
Yeah, you do, but like this really
I mean,
matters.
like tank, healer, DPS type stuff.
Oh,
But
yeah, I mean, you kind of have those, but that goes with like your brand sets and stuff like that. But it becomes more of a thing in the end game than it does like right now where we're just playing story mode stuff. You know what I mean? Like once you get to 30, um, uh, what's up, Arcana? Yes, the chat is working today.
it looks like it
Um,
is. Yay, chat.
um, and I'm actually looking today. Like typically I'm the one that pays attention to the YouTube chat,
Well,
and
it
you pay
popped
attention.
up here, so I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
there was an update and it finally. This
Yes.
restream thing is. They have some for the like last 2 years have some work to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it's just a lot of it's just a lot of research that goes into some of this stuff once you get to that max level, and you start grinding for your gear and your gear score and all of that kind of stuff. Now it was easy for me. Getting my gear score up was easy for me because my cousin was already like maxed out, and I was playing the game with him, and he would just join me and help me out, and he would just drop me all of this stuff, and like basically by the time I actually hit the level cap in order to start gearing up, um and by the time I hit the level cap in order to start gearing up, I already had all of the stuff to like raise my level. So like it wasn't anything for me at all to like be max level, but I still don't have all of that stuff down. I can still hold my own, but it's just one of those things. But the more we play, the more we're all gonna get to that again. But I've been playing with my cousin. I play some playing some of my own. I pretty much when we played, what was that, Saturday?
Yeah.
When we played Saturday, I had pretty much played Division all day long because I played with my cousin first. and we played for a few hours, and then I stopped. I had a brief pause, and then I ended up playing the game with y'all, and like he wanted to go play 2K, but he wanted to come back, but he didn't really want to go through the whole stuff of starting a new character. But like and now since I appear online now, he's like, "Yo, you trying to play?" It's like, "Fine, fine." That's part of the reason why I was appearing offline every time I wanted to do something. um, but I think Division 2 is a really good game, and I think it. I wouldn't call it the anti Destiny. It's the slightly more closer to realism Destiny.
Well, I'd say like Destiny is closer to Diablo than it is Destiny. Like it feels more Diablo than it does like MMO. When I think Destiny's going for more MMO, even though, like I said, you can make a tanky or a DPSy type character, but it's not true tank, true. You know what I mean? Everything's pretty much DPS, but
Yeah, but it's been really fun, and it's just kind of cool to be back, and have something to do. Now the thing comes out next week. The New York update comes out next week, and although I'm interested, because I'm going to Baltimore for my daughter's birthday, I don't think I'm going to be buying it next week. I'll go to Baltimore on Friday for my daughter's birthday, so I don't think that's going to work out for your boy. But I do think that I do think that I'm going to get it, and also I want to get a gold edition for the PlayStation. Whenever anybody wants to play, I can at least play the base game with the gold edition on the PlayStation. If somebody wants to get down, I'm down. Because I know when we were talking about playing this, and I know Layback was just like, "Oh, what are y'all playing?" We said Xbox. He was like, "No," that type of thing. So just to be more inclusive, I'm willing to start a new character over there. It's gonna take some work, but I can do that. And what the crazy part about it now, with the game being so cheap, like the base game is $3 on like all platforms. The base game, bless you, the base game is $3. So bless you. Is a lot of people getting in right now.
yeah,
And like sometimes when I'm loading into the game, there's like a short queue to log into the game. So um, I just think it's a really good game, and I personally like it more than Destiny.
cool.
Even though I think Destiny's a cool game, it's just it's something fun to play, but it's not anything that I really want to sink like that much time into.
Right. The but yeah, so that's been fun, and we've also, well, because Scar's been doing a lot of video premieres and stuff, mostly tests. So I was like, man, I need to put some stuff in my Chase Plays playlist. So I started this. It came from Humble Bundle, which I think I've talked about this before of that I wanted to do
I
that.
know I know we talked about it before. Did we talk about it on the show?
I'm not. I think I have, but I never actually did it. So I just said, man, that'd be kind of a cool little idea because I have so much weird shit from Humble Bundle that comes along with the main games. And I made a giant list on a random name generator, like for contests and stuff, and it was like 100 and something games. But I didn't add stuff like Overwatch or Destiny and stuff things that people know about. I mean, there's a couple of things that people know about that's in there, like Frostpunk and stuff, but nothing like. I mean, hey, you guys, check out this Assassin's Creed. I know you guys haven't heard of it before.
I would love to watch you play Frostpunk so I could watch the depression happen. Like you have to please make sure that you have your camera on from that one, whenever you play Frostpunk, because, bruh, just to watch the depression just wash over you would probably be the best part of that video.
But yeah, so I have it pick a game. The first one I actually picked on my own because it was I was thinking about doing that every month is picking one from the current month, so I can say, hey, this is in the current month. If you get the humble bundle, this game comes with it. But
You
every
should
other
let
one I do at random. The app just picks it and I play it. And that's why last time it was that Homestuck nonsense. I was like, I don't know anything about Homestuck. I just know internet people love it. And so I played that, and then next one is ukulele.
I only thing I know about ukulele is like a lot of people thought it was going to be like a new Banjo Kazooie, and they were very disappointed by it. But
That's what it seems to me.
yeah, it was supposed to be like a new Banjo Kazooie type game, and then it was just ended up being disappointing. But yeah, you should let me choose one.
Okay.
Every once in a while, just let me choose one, which I think would be hilarious. Like, because I would pick like the 2 Point Hospitals of it all, you know, like that type of stuff.
Yeah,
just
2 Point Hospital is in there.
Yeah, I know. And like it's one of those things to where it's like 2 Point Hospital is a really cool, really fun game. If you're playing through the campaign, they kind of ease you into everything. But like if you're playing like a sandbox or some shit like that, that shit can get out of control real fast. Real fast. I really enjoyed 2 Point Hospital, but I just didn't really. I didn't really keep coming back to it. Like I played it a few times. I put some time into it, yeah, but it didn't really it didn't really stick to my ribs, I guess you would say. That's the only thing I can say about it. Like I liked it. I enjoyed 2 Point Hospital. I waited for a long time for it to come out. And when I got it, I was just like, this is really cool. I really like this. And then just didn't stick to the ribs, yo.
Huh.
I got see, like I just looked at my Steam. I only have 5 hours in it. And in like a smaller game a smaller game like fucking Spellcaster University, I have 17. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So is
But
I
that
guess
is a finished Call of Duty campaign, so
huh?
5 hours.
Yeah, it's pretty much. It depends on what level you play on. If you play on normal, you should be able to finish it in 5 hours, cool. Or if you play those type of games, you should be all right. But if you're not one of those people that play a lot of first person shooters, like the fucking Call of Duty can be hard. Like because um before Modern Warfare 2 was like the first real Call of Duty that I played. I subsequently went back and played 4 after I had gotten used to playing more first person shooters on console because I used to get motion sick a lot. And like I've told this story before, I threw up twice trying to play Call of Duty 4. The first time. And like it wasn't until like playing Halo a lot and then playing like playing Modern Warfare 2, for some reason around that time I got a little bit better at like not getting motion sick with this shit. Um so I was able to go back and play Call of Duty 4 and I had a great time except for that fucking sniper mission, which is a complete pain in the ass. I said it. That mission is a complete pain in the ass.
It's not so bad. It's one of the most iconic missions out of the game, but
it's the most iconic. I will say that it is iconic. It's an iconic frustration. Like it's like that is the show title, iconic frustration. But yeah, you know, have you done anything else?
well, I did that. Well, actually, I played some of my Persona 4 stream that I completely quit because well, here's what had happened.
What had happened?
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
I was doing that. I started in 2018 and pretty much went pretty strong through, and then in 2019, how you have to stream from the PSTV, since it was I guess it was released before a lot of consoles was like doing a lot of streaming capabilities. So it has this HDCP, which is a copyright protection for HD content. normally on consoles, it will, if it knows you're streaming, it will take that off for games, but then you can't like stream Netflix or something like that or record off Netflix. And then same with PS4. But that it just you just couldn't turn it off, so you had to use this.
I thought like especially on PS4, I thought you just go in and turn that off.
You can, but then you can't watch Netflix. But on that there's no way to turn it off. So I had to get a splitter to actually strip it so I can do it. So then I have HDMI going from that to the splitter, and HDMI going to the TV, HDMI going to the capture card. The splitter's plugged in, the TV things, the PlayStation things plugged in, the capture card's plugged in, the TV's plugged in, and so like when I redid my computer stuff, I was just like fuck all these cords, fuck all this shit, and I just put it in the closet, and then I said I'll get it out when I'm gonna do the next stream, and I just never did. So I didn't stream at all, other than the podcast, because I didn't have to plug anything up.
And they haven't done any remasters or anything like that where you can play it on a modern console.
No, not yet.
Because I heard of something about that.
I thought they would, since Persona 5 was sold so well, that they would put 4 on the PS4, since it's already in HD on the Vita, So I don't know. And it'd be cool to have some treatment for 3 too, because that kind of got lost, and it's a good game. But anyway, so I put all that shit away, and the last stream I did was that. So I didn't stream it all in 2019. There was a couple of little trailers for the RPG campaign I was doing that I uploaded. But so it's all these little like a couple little like 50-second things that was on my thing, and nothing else. So I was like, man, I should probably. When I did that, the stuff for our site, I was like, man, I actually really enjoy this. Why am I not doing this more? So I was like, I'm just gonna finish. I don't want to leave it undone. But yeah, that kind of broke me a little bit, because doing that long of a game and spanning it over like a year, to where because when it was time for me to play, it was like, man, I got a lot of shit going on. I can't really play right now, and it was like daunting. But then when I was done with the month and I couldn't play anymore until the next month, I was like, man, I have all this time to play. So it's just like, it just sucked. So I didn't even do a full Extra Life, like 24-hour or 12-hour stream or anything in 2019, other than the Persona stuff. So this year I'm thinking about doing that again, because I was looking through some old Extra Life stuff, and I was like, man, those are actually some fun times. Even though I didn't get much on donations or views, we had a good time.
we should set up something at some point. I don't know exactly when, but we should do the whole I come to North Carolina and we live stream for a day again.
Yeah, that was really fun.
I think we should do that. I don't know when we can pull that off. Like money wise on my end, paying for the trip and stuff. But I think we should do that again. That was a lot of fun, even though like you live in the fucking sticks, and it was like, it takes like, from the interstate, it takes like 45 fucking minutes to get to and from your house to the interstate. It was still
I live like right next to 40.
I was on 95 because I live on 95.
Yeah, but 40 does intersect with 95. I don't know why it didn't take you 40, but
I don't know. It just took me straight down 95. I don't know whether it was something that I told it to do. Like, hey, I know 95, so let me just stay here. That's quite possibly what happened. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's quite possible.
95, you can go all the way to 95, and then 40 intersects with 95, which is actually pretty. You're like right here in nowhere, Benson, North Carolina. The two longest, one of the two longest highways in the United States intersect.
That's crazy.
I think that one that goes from New York, I can't remember, is actually the longest one. But yeah.
You take 95 to get to New York.
Well, I mean, there's another one that goes from New York to like Washington or something. I think I don't know exactly, but I think that one's longer than 40, just because of where it's going. But 40 goes from North Carolina to California, and 95 goes from Florida to up wherever it goes.
I know it goes. I pretty much took 95 pretty. You take 95 pretty much all the way through. I've taken 95 basically through like Massachusetts.
Yeah, I figured it went up like pretty far, but I didn't know how far. But anyway, that's
yes. welcome to Scarcasm Interstates. But I think we should do that at some point, because I thought that was fun at the time, and even though even though we talked about like you possibly coming here for a change, I think it's easier for me to go there if money permitting. It's easier for me to go there because you got two young ones.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it would be cool to go up there sometime. But the and you know, you don't got to get no hotel. I mean, you can.
I'm not staying in your house, Chase. White people do some real crazy shit. Like I fall asleep and you start drawing fucking mustaches and shit on my face.
I'm
with
not
Sharpie.
21. Like, I'm not a 21 frat boy.
I don't trust white people like that, bro. I don't. I just don't. Like for real. I'm not. I refuse. I absolutely refuse to fall asleep at your house. Like that's how real this shit is. I absolutely refuse to fall asleep at your house because white people be doing some fucked up shit.
I don't even think I got any magic markers in the house. Like, but
you got kids, so you know there's something. There's something. You got something, and I ain't trying to be no victim. You know what I'm saying? Nope, not at all. Not gonna happen. Not it ain't gonna happen to your boy.
All right, man. But I mean, I'm just saying, I'm not like a 21-year-old frat boy.
I'm just saying. As far as games, I haven't really played a whole lot other than The Division lately, but I have watched some stuff.
Oh yeah.
I watched Lock and Key. I watched Lock and Key, and like I was really watching. There's this guy. I think his name is Danny Malt, and I think I spoke about him before. He reviews like comic book stuff. And he was reviewing like the graphic novels of Lock and Key, and then like I started watching Lock and Key, and I was like, "Yo, I'm a watch this. I'm gonna watch this, and then I'm gonna go back to see what happened in the comics and what's different about it." And I went back, and the shit was gone. And he just put out a video, basically. He's done. I watched him go through all the way through The Boys. I watched him go all the way through. He's going all the way through Invincible right now, and apparently he did Lock and Key, and he got copyright strike. He got a copyright strike for that shit. So he had to take all of that shit down. So like, okay. So he was just like, "What is it about this thing that I got a copyright strike, and I've done all of this other stuff?" So like I don't, and I'm really not the person that's gonna be like I'm gonna seek out the comic books. Like, nah, that's not gonna work. But I really liked Lock and Key. And I did watch some videos about like what's different with like the timeline in the timeline of the TV show within this span of the comics. What's different about it? And I think they made some pretty good changes. And I really like Lock and Key a lot. And I'm interested to see where it goes and what more they can get out of this, because of course I couldn't watch those YouTube videos anymore. So I don't have I don't really have a strong idea of where this is supposed to go. And I think that helps out a little bit. And then I started watching Witcher again. I saw on Amazon, IMDb TV has a thing on Amazon, and they have Almost Human. So I started watching Almost Human again. Almost Human, in my opinion, is Firefly level of What If. Like, what
Is
if
that the
Fox
one
did?
to where like they're like vampires and werewolves and stuff?
No, that is. I know what you're talking about there. Um, um, Shit, I watched that. And I watched both of those. The one that you're talking about, where the vampire, werewolf, and the ghost live in the house.
Yeah.
Um, is this something human?
Yeah, I know. When I heard the name human,
Is
I
it
thought
being human? Is it being human?
maybe that's it. I think that might be it.
I can look it up. And I watched both versions of that show. I watched the American version, and I watched the British version. And to be honest, the first season of the American version is like, it's kind of like, they said that it's kind of like what they did for The Office, where like the both of the first seasons are pretty much exactly the same. The only difference is the setting.
Huh.
And that's pretty much what they did, because I watched the British one first, and then I watched the human one. I mean, the human one. I just looked this up, so I just typed the word human and I said human. Yeah, it's being human. I watched the American one after, and I was like, yo, this is exactly the same, except for the setting is different because now it's in America, you know.
Right.
And I saw my girl is watching Good Girls. Speaking of being human, I just saw two of the characters from the American Being Human in other things. Okay, so here's one thing. I went back and I watched Supergirl,
Okay.
and I'm caught up to the Supergirl that's on Netflix. I have not watched anything from the current season other than the little bit that's in the crossover. And the last season of Supergirl has a ton of like, it's about like this, like it's about like illegal aliens, like literally illegal aliens, and it is a lot of like, it has is like deeply rooted in politics,
Like cone
in the
heads.
politics of now. Um, say it again.
Like cone heads.
No, it's not quite coneheads. It's real, because like this group is like worried about like actual aliens being on the planet, and like it's kind of like the whole thing is just kind of a takeoff of Trump fans, basically, and like wanting to get rid of all of the aliens and all of this kind of stuff, and like they go to extremes. Like, I hope that like this never goes as far. Like, this whole thing right now, even if Trump gets reelected, which I personally think that he will, I just hope this shit doesn't bubble up to this kind of extreme, because it goes real far. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a hate group that like basically blossoms under the new regime, after the president gets outed as an alien. Because you know the president in Supergirl is Linda Carter, and Linda Carter is actually her character is an actual alien, in the thing. And you know what? Do you know who Linda Carter is?
Yeah.
In one episode, she does actually do a Wonder Woman spin. That was dope. But the main guy is Sam Witwer, who he is the main guy of the opposition group in Supergirl, and he well, you know, a lot of gamers will know him from The Force Unleashed. You know, he is the model for the character that you play in the Force Unleashed games. And he
Okay.
does the voice acting and stuff like that. Um, he's played in quite a few. He's played in quite a few things. Actually, he played in Smallville also, which I think is kind of cool that he played in Smallville when he was a little bit younger, and he played in Supergirl. Keeping it DC. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But in Smallville, he actually played Doomsday. He was fucking Doomsday. But like, and that's one connection. And then my girlfriend is watching. I think the TV show is called Bad Girls or something like that. And Sam Witwer in Being Human was the vampire, I believe. It's called Good Girls. Yeah, I'm tripping. It's called Good Girls. Sam Witwer is the vampire, and the guy who played the werewolf plays in Good Girls. And I was just in the room while the episode was going on, and I was like, hey, I know that guy. It was like, he's from Being Human. That just happened like a day or so ago.
Ooh.
All comes back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I had got a couple of movies I added them to the Plex. Because I got Alita Battle Angel and Jojo Rabbit. I haven't watched it yet.
Okay.
I just bought them and added them, but what I have been watching is I hadn't put it on the Plex because all I had was the first season. So I was like, but then I was like, yeah, I'll just go ahead and put this on the Plex. So I had the first season of My Name Is Earl. And I've been watching through that, and that's been pretty fun.
I know some people. I know people, and not just white people, but I know like people who really cared about My Name Is Earl.
Mm.
Like really, really cared about that show, but I just never saw anything that would appeal to me in like all of the promotional material type thing.
Right. Yeah, when I first saw it, I was like, hey, that's dude from Mallrats. So yeah, I started watching it, and then Ethan Suplee, who was in a bunch of stuff in the 90s. But he's like super ripped.
This is back when he was. Yeah, that was back when he was still fat.
Yeah. So yeah, but he's really funny in the show, and but yeah, it's pretty good. It's just been something to like kind of veg out to, and that's been cool. But actually, I have been playing something that I forgot to mention. I had picked up on the Ubisoft sale the Far Cry New Dawn, which is the one that literally spoils the end of Far Cry 5, but
I said, "Oh, you mean Far Cry? It spoils the end of Far Cry Trump country."
Yeah, but yeah, let me share my screen real quick. I'll show you my.
But see, here's the problem with that, in being a spoiler. It completely negates if you had the other ending.
Right. See, that pissed me off because I was like thinking, well, maybe he didn't. Well, maybe he did it, and it wasn't something, some sort of government thing or whatever. Because if you did the other ending, it doesn't happen. So obviously he did it. But then they were like, oh, well, the other ending never happened. So it's like that is not the point of multiple endings. Multiple endings is all the endings are technically canon. It's how you play it.
Yeah, and that's the reason why like people say that they want a sequel to Mass Effect. They want to know what happened after the fact. And it's like, you can't really do that. Like, you can't really do that. that like the moment that thing popped up on the screen, I mean, y'all need to do the y'all need to look at the YouTube video. But like the moment that popped up, I heard wow. Like but damn, I just lost my train of thought because of that damn picture. Oh, multiple endings. Like people say that they want they want to know what happened in Mass Effect. And after the complete clusterfuck that's Andromeda. They want you to go back and see like what happened after that. But that comes to the fact that yes, the multiple endings were not that different from each other. We get it. We do.
Mm-hmm.
We understand. But if they do this, then they have to pick one. They have to pick one, and essentially, just like Far Cry, if you had one of the other endings, they basically have to say, "We're making a sequel. Fuck your ending. We're sticking with this one." And that's just going to rub a whole bunch of people the wrong way. So, like, either they have to, if they're going to continue Mass Effect, they either need to continue Andromeda, or they need to make a prequel, which I don't think a prequel will work.
Yeah, because I always thought if they did like the First Contact War, they should have started with that, and I thought that would actually be kind of cool. In the fact, then you would, if you had like 2 or 3 games to where the Turians were the bad guys, and you saw them as the bad guys for like 3 games, and then you had to play the Mass Effect trilogy where you had to work with them. I think that would made it feel more authentic to where like you're like, why are these characters so hate the
But how do
so
you
much?
how do you make that game? Here's my problem with that whole thing. How do you make that game outside of a one shot? You can't make that a multiple. You can't make that a series. You can't make a prequel a series because, like, the whole point of the Turian War was we found the mass relay. Like, we tried to use it. The Turians was like, hold on, y'all getting a little too big for your britches. There was a war. And, like, the scope of that war is so small because it only really happens here in this sort of solar system.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? And, like, when Mass Effect, when the original Mass Effect starts, like, you are still, like, humanity is still kind of like a neophyte to the rest of everything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like we had just became cool enough for the Turians to make the Normandy. You know what I mean? Because that was the first time that we was like, all right, we cool now. Let's make something together. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like the bully that you had in high school. Both of y'all get grown, and then y'all realize y'all both rap. So it was like, yo, like, all right, you want to be on my mixtape? Like, that's basically what happened. But, like, how do you turn want to be on my mixtape to into like a series? You know what I mean? Because that's basically what that was. Is like, you know what I mean? Like, we beefed in school, but, like, now we both cool and we both realize we rap. So, like, do you want to be on my mixtape, dog? And that's basically, that's what it is. That's like a way basic version of those events. But, like, I don't know how you turn the First Contact War into a series. Like, if it's a one-off, that's cool. But also remember, like, you're gonna have to pull back a lot of the technology. You're gonna have to pull back a lot of everything, and the focus is mostly gonna be on the solar system, which I don't think that's very interesting. Here's the only way I think you can do it.
It's a DLC for another game.
Nope. Here's how I think you can do it. And this is the only way that I think this can really be pulled off. What do you know about Ender's Game?
Not too much.
Okay. Ender's Game, and it became a movie. It was supposed to become a series, but then they realized that Orson Scott Card had an issue with the gays, and it completely derailed the movie series. And the movie didn't do as well as they thought it was going to, partially because all of that stuff about Orson Scott Card and the gays came out right before the movie came out. But in the books, though. In the books, there are two separate series that coincide. There's the Ender's Game series where it follows Ender and where he goes, it follows the events of Ender's Game and where he goes after, which ends up being like years and years and years later once he finally gets where he's going. But then there's also the Ender's Shadow series where it follows Bean which is one of the characters from Ender's Game, but it shows you everything that he went through. It shows you everything that he went through, what how he ended up at the military school, how he, his side of everything that happened with Ender, and then what happened with him and everybody else who was left when Ender left to go on basically one of those Andromeda type trips to another planet. You know what I mean? So shortly after all of this stuff, Ender left and went to an Andromeda like situation to where it's like they were gone for like years and years and years before they actually arrived where they were going. But like the whole thing is like, but Bean's story in the beginning is concurrent with Ender's. So like the idea, if you make another Mass Effect and you want it to relate in somehow to the original trilogy, you make a side story following someone else whose story is happening at the same time.
Yeah.
If you can do that, then I say revisit the original series. But if you can't do that, I personally say don't mess with it. Unless you do a remaster.
What if they did this to where? What if the Andromeda crew was just like, you know what? Andromeda's fucked. Let's go back. And then so it's 600. So that would be like 1,200 years after the Reapers. Then they could probably say a lot of this stuff ended up the same, no matter what you did.
Right.
I mean, it's literally 1,200 years.
Yeah. So like I think that's the only way that you could do it, but I say don't do that. I think they had something with Andromeda, and I think the story was not as great, but you can fix that.
Yeah.
With more time, more attention, and like a better grasp on how to do this, I think that you could really. I think Andromeda is a decent foundation of which you can build. You can write a better story.
Yeah.
And like, and you can base your better story on the questions that are left from the end of Andromeda, because there's a few questions that never got answered, and you could start there and build something better. And to be honest, like, you really want to make Andromeda better, actually include more sentient alien races.
Yeah. And they were supposed to do that, but then they were like, fuck it, because everyone hated Andromeda and they didn't want to put money into something everyone hated.
No, I think well, no, I want more sentient alien races that are new to an Andromeda, not just the cat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna need something like the cat, and then the
Angara.
The Angara. I couldn't think of the word. Thank you. I think you need to be able to find more different types of quote unquote peoples that you can interact with and stuff like that, because basically those are the only two. Like, you travel 600 years and you only found two that you can actually like communicate with. Two.
Yeah. One of them wanted to kill you.
Yeah. And like leaving where they left, and you have all of these types of people, and all of them communicate, all of them live together, not all happy, but like the fact that like you go all the way 600 years away.
Yeah, I was actually a little disappointed when I heard that was people from the Milky Way galaxy going to Andromeda. When they first announced it, I thought it was going to be a game in Andromeda that had nothing to do with the Milky Way galaxy at all.
That would have been really hard to do, because of the idea that like it's still well, first of all, here's the worst thing that could have happened to Andromeda. It had the Mass Effect name on it.
Yeah.
If it was just called Andromeda, well, which would have confused people with the TV show, but if they would have just called it something else,
yeah,
it probably wouldn't have carried a lot of that stuff with it. That like how when when what's the game, the EA military game.
Battlefield.
Yes, Battlefield. When they made the cop one,
Yeah.
like I think it suffered from being called Battlefield.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so like, can you call this something else? The kind of the same way that like, even though it's like a continuation of the story, calling Dragon Age 2 Dragon Age kind of sucked. Like, um, that was the one everyone hated, right? 2 was the one everyone hated.
Yeah.
But I think if they would have called this something else, it would have worked out a whole lot better. But like, it has to be some sort of a continuation from the Milky Way, because the Milky Way is the basis of the technology and the terminology and like all of these things that you need to know going into Andromeda.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why, like, there has to be some sort of baseline. I don't think anybody wanted to relearn all of this. Like we really dig the codex, but like I ain't really trying to live in the codex in order to play this game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But for one thing, the reason that they would tack it on to another series is like, at least right now, or a few years ago, companies are really scared of new IP because they would see something like the game you don't want to mention kind of fail, even though it was a very good game and the people that played it really loved it. And
Which game I don't want to mention? I have 2.
the one that isn't in Dubai.
The fantasy one.
Yeah, like I said.
Oh, that game failed. I watched a video on this. That game failed because of mismanagement of money. Like, it was just like, what? Here's the thing. The game that actually came out, and I'm not mentioning it because I don't want anybody to drink, but the game that actually came out was a side project from their original goal. Their original goal, no matter what, was to work on an MMO. And if you're a brand new company, to start at an MMO is dumb. Is dumb. Like, the idea that, like, the game that came out is because they expanded to. I mean, there's a YouTuber that I watch, and I can't think of his name right now. I'll pull it up. But there's a YouTuber that I watch, and he did he does this whole thing, and it's called What Happened, where he talks about these games and like how they failed and all of that kind of stuff. And it's really good stuff. Is What Happened. The guy's name on YouTube is Matt McMuscles. Matt McMuscles.
Okay.
And he does a series called What Happened. And he basically goes through all of these games that like something happened, something went wrong, and either the game came out and was just terrible, or like, and he talks about like what led up to this thing happening. And basically what it was is Kurt Schilling just completely mismanaged the money. They built the team too fast, and like the worst thing ever is they started with an MMO, which was the worst idea ever. And the only reason why that game came out is because they acquired a company in order to add to them. They acquired a company that had already had a game in production, and they just turned it into that game and released that. They attached their IP to a game that was already in production.
Huh.
So and that's why that game ended up coming out, and the company ended up going under because they started trying to make an MMO for no reason at all.
Right. But yeah, I was still saying that, it's a good game, but it's also, I was worried about like Borderlands, even though you wouldn't think that now that Borderlands is like a fairly big name now, but at the time you're like, is this going to be good? Is this going to be crap? I've never heard of this Borderlands thing. It sounds cool, But so it is a risk not going with the status quo and kind of going with something new, because if there's something new, nobody's ever heard of it before. So
That's true. But see, the thing about the studio headed by Kurt Schilling, I don't even want to mention the studio name. That's how real this is. The thing about it is like that he went and got people to help him. Like, you know what I mean? He got R.A. Salvatore on to be one of the main writers of the story. He got Todd McFarlane to help with the design and how this thing is supposed to look. And like all of this stuff. And like he made they made good decisions, but like those people cost money. You know what I mean? Like the kind of money that like you probably shouldn't be paying if you're a startup.
right.
And that was part of the problem. It was go big or go home. And he went really big, including getting money from Rhode Island, which they had to pay back, and that essentially is what killed them. And EA didn't make that any easier too. Like a lot of the what happened series is like EA doing some fuck shit. And
Well, like EA had made those statements to where they said like single player games aren't really going to make that much money, but I'm hoping that's turned around now that they've released that Star Wars game, even though it's got Star Wars attached to the name. But it's a single player game all the way through. There's what you would think is a single player game, and from what I've heard, it's sold really fucking well. And hopefully that shows that people do still play straight up single player games that just have a good story and good gameplay.
I think it's kind of fucked up that we that a Fallen Order is not on EA Access. Like that shit pisses me off. Even if it was on like just the trial, you play the trial, and then like you get to a certain point and it's like, all right, we need you to buy this. And even if it stayed on trial forever, the fact that I pay for EA Access and all of the EA games are supposed to be here, but except that one, is fucked.
Yeah. But I mean, that same thing happened with. I don't think like Anthem was on there at first, so it'd probably go on there after a while. Well, I mean, it had the trial of Anthem though.
Yeah, every single game had a trial until it was put in the vault, except for this game. Every single one of them had a trial first. And it's just this one game. You can't play Fallen Order on Access, and I think that's fucked up.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right, I think we talked quite a bit. There was something else that I wanted to talk about, and I forgot about it. Oh, I got one more thing I want to discuss, and then we can wrap this up.
Okay.
You got before I talk about this? Do you got anything else?
No.
Okay, so I have the Disney Plus bundle, and because I have the bundle, I have ESPN Plus also. And I was able to watch the Michael Vick documentary. And I will say that the documentary itself is very well done. And the first episode, it really covers up to getting to the NFL. So it covers the college and all of that kind of stuff. And there's a little bit of like the foreshadowing of what's going to happen with the dogfighting stuff. But I was a little bit warm about it in the beginning because of like the beginning of that, when they talk about his upbringing, there's a lot of places and things and people that I know that I've witnessed that I've in like places, especially places I've been, and I really felt a little bit defensive at the characterization of my home. Basically, I thought it was I thought that the idea I don't know, I felt defensive about it because it felt like outsiders coming to my home telling me that my house wasn't shit. And it's like, bitch, this is my house. You not gonna talk. I can talk about my house, but you can't talk about my house. You know what I mean? It's like your brother. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like you can call your brother an asshole all day long. Asshole, 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 asshole. But the moment an outsider calls your brother an asshole, we got problems now. You know what I mean? And that's kind of how I felt about the characterization of Newport News in the first part of the Vic documentary. And it really rubbed me the wrong way. I even made a Facebook post about it. I felt something and I was on fire. And I thought that the idea of like them characterizing and like shaping the narrative of Newport News just around the famous people. I mean, it's mostly about Vic, but there's some Allen Iverson in there too. But like shaping everything around those two very rich men that got out bothered me because like that's my home. I'm from there. Like, you know, bless you. That's my home. I'm from there, and I know like so many people that did get out, and I know people who are fucking doctors and lawyers and like who are like bank managers and shit like that, like in all of these things that people are from there, and they made it seem like that the area where he's from, which is blocks away from where I grew up, the area which is crime ridden. They try to make it seem like that's all it was. And it's just like that area is a small part of a much larger place, which basically Newport News isn't very much a city as it is a very big small town. It's basically a small town that came into some money. You know what I mean? It's like Newport News is like in Hampton to the same extent because they're right next to each other. They are in the terms of like cities, and like how I thought that the rest of it was extremely well done. And I still think that there's a piece of this that he can't say, and I wonder if it's ever going to come out. Because I can't really say, but I've always said for a long time, if you believe that Michael Vick actually touched a dog, you're a moron. Period. If you believe that he actually put his hands on a dog and killed a dog himself, I believe you're not very bright. But like, I wonder if that conversation is ever going to come up at any point. Probably it's not going to come up until he dies. It's not going to come out at all until he dies, about how like all of this stuff was basically put on his lap so he wouldn't get hit with gambling. Because the gambling was the part that would really have fucked him up the worst. And I love the court stuff. The court stuff where they're just like, hey, like, people who get caught with this stuff is like, get like 6 months probation or some shit like that. And they was just like, nope, we're throwing a book at you. We're sending you to fucking Leavenworth. And it's just like, wait, why do I get to go to Leavenworth? And like other people are just fine with this. Like they get fucking slap on the wrist. And like, there's a part where the prosecutor here really was not really going to follow up on this shit. Somebody got the feds involved, and that's why he ended up doing fed time in Leavenworth, because somebody had, so the feds got involved into some shit that the local prosecutor wasn't even going to pursue. Like there's like a lot of like nuance in this, but I think you should watch it. Like if you have ESPN Plus, you know, all the people who have the bundle, you have ESPN Plus, you should watch it. It did come on actual ESPN, so if you can DVR that joint if it comes back on, do that. I thought it was really good.
Sounds good.
All right, so I think that's it for us.
Yep.
All right, so thank you to the people. We appreciate everybody. The Patreon is this close to being live. Chase is supposed to be working on some art for me. I may have to put it up without it. But the Patreon is like this close. Everything's done per se. There's still going to be some tweaking. But everything's done. I think I'm going to officially do it. I'm gonna make it go live on the 1st. So on Sunday, it's gonna go live on the 1st, because there's monthly drawings that are in the, especially for like for like art and stuff like that, because it's an all encompassing Patreon where it covers like the podcast stuff, the art stuff, and if you're on the highest level, you can choose cookies instead of more art. Like all of that stuff is all encompassing to all of that. But because it's going to be monthly drawings, I figured start on the 1st. So like by the time the next 1st comes around, then I can do the drawings. Because if I do it now and then, like I would feel like I need to do a drawing on the 1st, which is probably not the best idea. So the Patreon's going live on the 1st. It's official. Whether Chase does the art or not, which he should, whether he does the art or not, the Patreon's going up on the 1st. So check out the Patreon, and I'll try to do a welcome thing sometime soon. I don't know if it's going to be out on the 1st, but it should be out somewhere thereafter. And if you can support, and we'll give something back. I promise.
Sounds good.
All right, so thank you again to everybody. I did get a couple people that hit me up for the after the 10-year show. Thank y'all. I'd actually named a couple of names of like some of the people who like hit me up all the time about the show. Thank you to y'all. And I think that's it. So I know there was something else that I thought that I should have said, but I guess I'm not going to say it now because I don't remember what that is. So thank you for checking your boys out. This is Scarcasm for the homie Chase. I'm Scarfinger. This is Scarcasm. Peace out to the Warriors, yo. And we'll be back in 2 weeks. I don't know. Are we doing a game night next week?
Yep.
Okay. Game night next week. Show in 2 weeks. Go to the game nights. If you have if you want to play some Division with your boys, it's $3. I play all the time, and I am willing to play the game with you. Just holler at your boy. Gamer tag and all that kind of stuff is in the show notes.
Sounds good.
Peace out to the Warriors, yo. Bam.
Later.